Jimmy Joe Flint has defeated Campbell Hatton once again and has basically ended Campbell Hatton's career before it has even started. Jesus Christ. That was scrappy. That was very scrappy. Campbell Hatton made that fight scrappy. Jimmy Joe Flint was the way better boxer there. It's absolutely humiliation for Campbell Hatton, getting mocked by everyone on Twitter, being told that he should go and fight on Misfits. Might be a bit harsh, but honestly, yeah, Hatton's career is basically over before it started, though. If we're being real, his career is over. And the United lad, Jimmy Joe Flint, succeeds there once again. Let's go, Jimmy Joe Flint. Definitely won the fight. Hatton's work was so scrappy and hard to score. Honestly, Hatton just came charging in a lot of the time and was so scrappy with his wild shots. Flint was the way better, more fundamental boxer there. 100% he was. The way cleaner work in that fight came from Jimmy Joe Flint. I thought Hatton's scrappiness early on won him like those first 2 rounds. So Hatton got those first 2 because I thought he was so scrappy there. But eventually, yeah, round 3, Jimmy Joe Flint as the fight went on, Jimmy Joe Flint was just, you know, showing that he was the better, more technical boxer, and it ended off paying off in that fight. It ended up paying up. Jimmy Joe Flint's more technical work was paying off. He was landing the cleaner shots, putting in the better work, and, you know, looking like the more, you know, better fighter. So round 3 went to Flint. First 2 went to Hatton. Round 3 went to Flint. Round 4 went to Hatton. Round 5, 6, 7, I gave to Flint. Round 8, I gave to Hatton. Round 9 and 10, I gave to Flint because Flint's work was starting to be much better. I do think some rounds were difficult to score. Flint was still, you know, definitely the clear winner, but some rounds were difficult to score just because they were just so scrappy in the amount of holding that Hatton was just doing after his scrappy work. They just fall right into the clinch. It was kind of painful to score at times, I'm not going to lie. But Flint was good behind the jab at times in that fight. There was no head movement from Hatton at all. He was there to be hit. They had a clash of heads, which kind of affected Hatton's vision at a point. And, you know, Flint was just able just to go after him. Hatton was just charging in at times and was there to be countered a lot by Flint. Flint was just able to outsmart him in the end. Like, that Hatton just doesn't really have any boxing IQ whatsoever, if we're being real. That's the thing. Hatton doesn't really have a boxing IQ. He just goes in there and is scrappy. That's what happened. He thought he was going to try and be able to rough up Flint. He knew he wouldn't be able to outsmart him. But, you know, Hatton's changed his trainer and everything, gone to a new gym, and that still happened. It was literally the same thing as the last fight. But at times in that fight, Flint really had Hatton on edge, it looked like at times, to be fair. It really did. Flint at times really had Hatton on edge. And Hatton just didn't know what to do. Hatton just did not know what to do. He was in there with a guy who was just too far advanced than him. And, you know, Flint also fought in a fight previous to this rematch with Hatton, and he lost a split decision. It just shows the level that Hatton's at. He's below Southern Area level. There was a clear gap in skill there. There was a clear gap in skill. Jimmy Joe Flint is more skilled than Hatton. By far. It's not even a question. There's a clear gap. Hatton's not even at the level that Flint's at. He's not at all. That's the thing. I mean, you know, Hatton was able to land a good few clean shots on Flint. He was, but it was scrappy. There weren't any, you know, good timed shots by Hatton where you're thinking, that was really well timed. We set that one up well. Hatton was just throwing wild shots. There was no I can't get my words out. There was no brilliantly well-timed set-up shots that Hatton was landing, and you're thinking, that's pretty clever. That you were never thinking that at all. And not once in Hatton's career are people thinking, this guy's a big up-and-coming prospect. He lost to the guy who he fought on he lost to the journeyman who he fought on the AJ Usyk first card. 100% he lost that one. Flint came and fully exposed Hatton. That's the thing. Hatton hasn't really got the power. He never really has had any. He's just never accurate with his shots. He's never really accurate with his work. He hasn't really got a great defense. He's there to be hit when he's actually in there up against someone with a heartbeat. Hatton's there to be hit. And at times in that fight, Flint was able to box round rings around Hatton, apart from when Hatton wasn't just clinching a lot of the time. Because that's what Hatton was doing. Wild work, miss, clinch, lands a few ones, but nothing's well-timed at all. He's just landing random wild shots. That's the thing with Hatton. He's not a smart boxer whatsoever. I don't know. I mean, there's huge questions around Hatton because obviously, you know, Ricky Hatton's one of, you know, the greatest British boxers of all time. Without a shadow of a doubt he is. And Hatton does have a big name to live up to. And often, you know, the sons of their their fathers who have had a big career, done, you know, a lot in the sport, they can't live up to their name. But and you know, clearly Campbell's, you know, failing under the pressure quite a bit. But it's not even just the pressure though. I mean, you look at people like Chris Eubank Jr. He's nowhere near what his dad was. But Eubank's still, you know, Eubank's still a decent top-level boxer. That like, you know, you use him, for example. Eubank's still, you know, he's made a name for himself on his own, even though he's not a big world-level guy. Eubank's still a good top-level boxer. Campbell Hatton, although he's still young, but you weren't seeing Chris Eubank Jr. get exposed at the level that Campbell Hatton's getting exposed at. That's the thing. So it's difficult for Hatton to live up to a name, but at the end of the day, he's getting exposed at a level that he shouldn't be getting exposed at. That's the thing. And you know, people were saying it was an issue with Matthew Hatton around him, but at the end of the day, he's had a good last few months with his new team, and nothing's changed for Campbell Hatton whatsoever. It was literally the exact same fight as the last one, if we're being real. It literally was the exact same fight as the last one. For Hatton, there just didn't really seem to be a full-on game plan. He was just rushing his work, rushing into shots, falling into clinches, and lost to the better guy with a better boxing IQ. He ended up just getting outsmarted. Flint was able to land better shots. And with Hatton, yes, I think he landed more, and he was throwing more, but Flint's work was much better. Flint landed more cleaner shots than what Hatton did. Flint was more convincing with his work. Hatton's shots were just random, and you know, they weren't fully always catching Flint flush and always catching him off guard. The better boxing and the pace, Flint was pushing the pace. That's the thing, and he was able to frustrate Campbell Hatton a lot in that fight. So yeah, there you go. Jimmy Joe Flint wins. Let's go United. Anyway, there we go.